Welcome to Small Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturday's video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Yes, thank you, Todd. A little sound, hey, to help if I turn on the microphone. So, all right, there's a great start. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So what I was just saying was that that's the way that I tend to wake up my son is we let our dog jump up in bed with him, and she gets very excited and wiggles her little butt around. And so we always say, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am the greeter. And so anyhow, good morning, Todd. I'm assuming you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? How about now? All right. So welcome into Small Business Saturdays. Yes, my son's school had better batch it now than 20 minutes in. Yes, catch it now. Better catch it now than 20 minutes in. So Chuck, good morning. Thank you for joining me nice and early this morning. So anyways, just getting into it. Going to be a little slow getting going here this morning. Last night, my son's elementary school had their annual trivia night, which is always a great event, and it's a ton of fun. And actually, they raise a good amount of money for the school, so that way the kiddos can get extra stuff. And this year, they were raising money to put walkie-talkie systems into all of the classrooms, just for safety and whatnot. So. It was great, but you can definitely tell. So the teachers show up and the parents show up, and there's no kids allowed, and everybody enjoys themselves pretty well. We kept it under control, but I had a few beers, so I'm definitely feeling it a little bit this morning. So anyhow, getting into it, like I said. So this morning, Wade, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate you tuning in. So we're going to talk a little trade shows today, and but before I do that, I did want to just real quick, right up here. I know you guys are in the know for the most part here. Christine, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. But I did want to just real quick, our success group. We are, let's see, we're through we're doing 5 keys, and we're through 4, and Todd, I'll get to your comment in a second, but we're through the first 4 videos of the 5 keys series, and it has been fantastic. Not only do I feel really proud of the fact that we've been able to really share some great information and help a lot of businesses kind of just rethink some things and give them some tools to do some things and whatnot. But I'm also super proud of the community that we've been able to start building, and just how helpful everybody is with each other. All of the sharing, all of the willingness to just have that abundance mentality. That's something that I think our industry in the past has lacked a little bit, and it's really doing a much better job. And I'm just so excited to see the fact that we're continuing to do a great job with that. You know, there's plenty to go around. We all just, let's come together, and the rising tide raises all boats is what I like to say. So anyhow, it's been really great. And so one more live video left, so you can go and get and become a part of that. That'll be next Wednesday. We'll be talking about marketing overview, probably a good chunk of that on Facebook and Facebook advertising. And just again, as Todd just said here, super proud and excited here as well. So it's just been fantastic. And I just want to make sure you guys are a part of it. So go to oursuccessgroup.com and get signed up for that. You'll still get the first 4 videos, and all of the questions and answers are recorded as well at the end. So the way we normally do it, or the way we do it, is the first hour and 15 minutes, depending on how much content there is. is all just sharing of that content. We don't, like I'm doing here, get caught up in the squirrels and all of that. We really focus on sharing and making sure that we get through it without, kind of being interrupted or not interrupted, but, not focusing as I'm doing this morning here. And then the next, however long it takes, really. So the first video, I think it was like an hour, and then it went to hour and 15 minutes of questions and answered. I think we had an hour and a half. And I think the last video ended up being, because we were a little longer in content and stuff like that, I think it ended up being like 2.5, maybe close to 2 hours and 45 minutes of just great information, great sharing, great content. So please get signed up for that. This is the last week before that's over. And then we get into the bi-monthly trainings. And if you want to check out that part of it, we also have some great stuff going on there. And that's scrolling down at the bottom here at oursuccessgroup.com/phase2. And you can, we've got some introductory offers going on there. If you are part of the 5 keys, you've got some amazing specials that help you become part of phase 2. So exciting stuff. And I appreciate you guys giving me a moment here to kind of pump that up. Just as you could tell, we are super excited about that. All right, so let me turn that off. And again, plenty of time. If you have questions, let me know. Here, I'll scroll my email address across the bottom there as well. And just let me know what questions you have. Reach out to either Todd or myself on Facebook here or whatever is easiest for you. In fact, we are already getting excited about the first video in the Our Success Group bi-monthly membership program, and we will actually be selling it as a standalone if you'd rather do that as a training opportunity. But February 19th, we will be breaking down in detail Facebook advertising. So we'll have that up, probably a project that I'm working on this weekend. So anyhow, great stuff there. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Those that are in, and then those of you who are not in, looking forward to having you in. So jump on in, and the water is wonderful. How about that? All right, so let me go back here. Yes, Christine, thank you for joining us. And Todd, sorry, let me clarify. There was no beer at school. This event was not at school. It was to raise money for our school. It was at a I don't remember what it was. Actually, I think it was a church, but so maybe not best there either. But hey, good stuff. But yes, we do like to have a little bit of fun here in St. Louis, and all the teachers and parents really enjoy themselves without the kids. So good stuff. Mara, good morning. And Cindy, cold Odessa, Texas. We're actually finally going to start seeing some sun here in St. Louis, and also we'll actually finally start having some nice weather. So on Sunday, and it's actually going to be in the 60s. So we'll see. Jim, good morning. Morning, Jim. Thank you for joining us. And Sharon, thank you so much for the great comment there. The training has been great. So good morning to you. And Mira, yeah, so it's just up at oursuccessgroup.com. That's how you get to be a part of it there. We have 2 ways. You can just dive right in, or we've got some payment plans that you can be a part of. So it is like a family picnic minus the crazy uncle. And I would say there was some crazy uncle. It was a movie marathon theme. And there was one table that was dressed up as every single character from Christmas Vacation. And that was really awesome. There was another table that was dressed up as Will Ferrell movies. So we had everything from Jackie Moon from, what was the name of that movie? Shoot, now I can't remember it. The Tropics was his basketball team. Anyhow, yeah, so they had it all. They had Shake and Bake from, oh gosh, I can't remember the names of the movies now. But anyhow, really good stuff there. Alan, thank you for joining me this morning, sir. How are you? Really looking forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully, let's see here. Oh, yeah, it'll be Dax, Kansas City. I know you're out there, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All right, cool. So let's dive into what we were here to talk about today. I've got to get off to volleyball this morning, so can't be here all morning as much as I'd love to be here chatting. All right, so what we're talking about today is all things trade show. And I want to just talk about this in a broad sense Thank you, Todd. Semi-Pro is the name of it. Yep. It was right there on the tip of my tongue. That Jackie Moon, the Tropics movie by Will Ferrell. All right. And Dax KC, Alan. So speaking of Dax KC and all things trade show, yeah, we're into the trade show season. There, I did not get an opportunity to attend this year, and I had real FOMO about it. But the Impressions Expo, which is the new brand of the ISS shows, so same great show, just a new name. It kicked off, and everything I saw, it was Joey DeWing in the house. Sorry, you see, chasing squirrels. Good morning, Joe. How are you, sir? Great to hear from you. Great to check in. Joe and I go way back, and we used to enjoy some chicken wings together back when two regular guys was not even a thing yet. So, and he was Joey DeWing. What's up, Joe? Thank you for joining me. All right, so Impressions Expo was awesome. They had like a band. They had Sublime, Mark McGrath. It was that was just the entertainment part. The education looked amazing. Just the interaction on the show floor, all the stuff going on. Everybody brought their A game. It looked like, and so I was bummed to miss it, but it was also good to be home with my family. So there's that. But all things trade show. So we're in it. So show season has officially kicked off. There's some great stuff coming up. I'm actually heading out to Las Vegas soon for the Awards and Personalization Expo, International Awards and Personalization Expo out there. And then we'll be hopping right on a plane to go to DAX, Kansas City. Was working on our DAX stuff yesterday. In fact, we are really, truly blessed to, so the decorators community, part of Two Regular Guys, kind of powered by Two Regular Guys, and, powered by our success group and stuff like that. We're actually going to have a booth there at DAX, Kansas City. And we're right next door to our friend Clay from CorelTrainer.com. And Dax, Scott, and Margie, they said, hey, you know what? You guys are building a community that we really want to be a part of. And so they are going to be helping us out and giving us a little bit of extra space and supporting our efforts there, because they are all about education. They're all about learning. And we're going to have, we're still kind of getting the brand exactly nailed down, but we're going to have the lounge. And so kind of in between Clay's booth and our booth will just be a sitting area. It's just going to be an area to network, to get together. We're kind of calling it the teacher's lounge. So we're going to invite all of the speakers to come and hang out there. We're going to have seating. Todd had a great idea that we're going to run with. We're going to have a charging station for your cell phones. Might even have a little storage cubbies, if you just want to kind of leave some stuff instead of carrying it around. Just an opportunity to come and sit and network and all that other stuff. So anyhow, show season is here. So what I wanted to talk about today is just kind of really what it's all about. Why, in today's age of being able to do live videos and Zoom calls and all that other stuff, that it's still super important to make sure that you get out to the shows. I know that sometimes they're not close. I know, in fact, in Christine, booth number will be 403. And Alan, great. Yeah, I saw your, as I saw your name on the list, I'm like, cool. I can't wait to get an opportunity every time we get to hang out, Alan. It's always awesome. And I love chatting with you. So, why this is so important. Like I said, what I was heading towards there is recently Todd posted in the Business Basics group that, who's been to a trade show, and it was really interesting. It was a very interesting mix. A lot of people that had, a lot of people that hadn't, but a lot of people that really just were kind of like, oh, it's not close, and money, and I totally get all of that. Completely get all of that. Again, right there. I missed Impressions Expo, the Long Beach Impressions Expo. Probably won't make it to Atlantic City either. And there's just, it's tough. It's a big investment. Plane flights are not cheap. Hotels are not cheap. I typically have an evening where we have a good time, so that's not cheap. And Impressions Expo in Atlantic City in March is going to be fantastic. and I would love nothing more than to make it, but just with the schedule and stuff like that, I just don't see it happening. So, but my point here is that regardless of what the situation is, somehow, some way, you've got to figure out how to get to one of these. And here's why it's so important is that while I love this platform, I love this live video platform, I love the opportunity to have Zoom calls with people, I love the opportunity to talk on the phone with folks every once in a while, even though that's not really my thing. I'm not really much of a phone guy. But all of those different opportunities to connect, sharing emails and stuff like that, and just whatever the situation may be, that's all great. But that opportunity to actually get face to face, get right in front of somebody, have that one-on-one conversation, have that opportunity to see people and kind of, okay, connect A with B and C and bring everybody together to sit down to just share ideas is huge, and then from the perspective of somebody that is a vendor, somebody that's selling services or supplies, I've seen a lot of companies. In fact, as I was involved in running companies and managing trade shows and stuff like that, every year it got harder and harder to kind of justify that return on investment because the costs can be pretty substantial. Even for us doing the DAX show, which to me is one of the most cost-effective shows that you can do as a vendor, we're going to make a significant investment in this, but that investment, you can't put what you get on paper, and if you're just spreadsheeting it out, like I like to do. As people know, I'm the data hipster. I love to spreadsheet it out and look at it, but then you have to step back from that and go, yeah, but there's the return on investment. The number thing here is one thing, but what about all that community? What about all that connection? What about all that opportunity to gain feedback and to have those one-on-one conversations that you just can't create in other digital formats like this or phone calls or whatever. So from a vendor perspective, I know a lot of people have told me that they're just cutting back, and I get it. You've got a limited amount of resources and you got to put them in the right places. But I'm here to encourage you to please don't cut back. All right. At least make a stand, make a flagship one that works for you. Get to at least one, be there, be present, get in front of your customers and let them know that you care about them in a face-to-face way. Heck, there were times at different trade shows that there were people that I would get to see that, I saw them once a year and they were customers, but they were also friends, so I looked forward to getting out to what was then ISS Fort Worth, because I get to see people and give them an actual hug. That was just a cool experience. And so all of that goes on, and then the education that you can encourage and be a part of and all that other stuff. So from a vendor perspective, there's huge upside. And the reason why I kind of started off on that side of it is that I was looking at the DAX Kansas City floor plan, and there's still booths available. So, if you're sitting there going, I don't know, it's super cost effective. So get to DAX Kansas City. There's still an opportunity to do that. I know Impressions has got availability in some of their upcoming shows, and I'm sure NBM does too, and all of these other stuff. So I know sometimes making the numbers fit just don't work, but I think you're doing yourself, your company, and your customers a huge disservice by not at least being out and available at one place. Now, it doesn't have to be one of our specific industry shows. And, while I'd love that because I want everybody to support our specific industry stuff that's going on, but you've got to get out there. No matter what kind of person you are, you've got to get over yourself and you got to be able to get out there, shake some hands. It's the politicians thing, shake some babies, kiss some hands. Oh wait, no, that's the other way around. Shake some hands and kiss some babies. You have to get out there and mingle and network and get that stuff going. So there's my plea to all the vendors. If you're absent from these shows and it's noticeable, there's a chance that you might get called out on 2 regular guys, or, on Small Business Saturdays or something like that here. So don't make me do that to you. How about that? All right. Let me get back to a couple of comments before I get to the next section I want to get to here. Todd said Impressions Expo Orlando overlaps with DAX Minnesota. And that does happen from time to time. It's not great, and it's not good for anybody. Impressions made this move because they are co-locating with the Sign Expo, I believe it is. They've really had a hard time with their Orlando show, from A, getting people there, and B, the time of year that they were having it happened to be hurricane season. So they've been shut out a few times, and that is financially just a disaster for them. They take a massive hit when that kind of thing happens. And, they certainly want everybody to be safe, but they are losing their shorts when they have to cancel the show, because they've got lots of money invested into it already, and the exhibitors do too. And so they had to make that move. I wish they would have been able to figure out a better way to not have them on top of each other. DAX I think this is their 22nd year, and DAX has been consistent. I mean, it's basically same weekend, same places, super consistent. And, so I wish they would have been able to do that. Jim says a learning opportunity is priceless. And I agree wholeheartedly with that from both sides of the aisle. So good. There you go. Set up your own group meetup and split an Airbnb. Saves a ton on hotels. Yep, that's a good idea. Cindy says there's lots of free classes offered at some of the shows, not to mention the information you gather from all the individual vendors. Yep, good stuff. Yep, it should be huge, and we are looking at going to that one. Being in hurricane season was not good. So yeah, it'll be very interesting. I will be at DAX Minnesota. So Todd, you'll have to report back there. All right. So now, from an attendee side of things, from the other side of the aisle, the important thing that, we've already talked about it, the learning opportunities. Cindy says the information you gather from individual vendors. You're going to learn new business techniques. You have to show up with an open mind and really kind of, again, step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Walk up to a booth, introduce yourself. Walk up to something you don't even know what the heck it is, and you're going to learn something and go, wow, okay. And then you got to think, can I use that in my business? Or can I use that idea in my business? It may not be that you can use that specific tool or that specific service, but my guess is you can take all of the ideas that you gather there and figure out a way to use that to improve your business. So take those ideas and make those connections and learn those new tips. Again, step outside of your comfort zone, walk into a booth that you don't know, say hello. Don't go interrupt somebody and be all mad if they can't get to you right away. Some shows, there's a lot of people, and so you just got to be patient. You got to map it out, and you got to hit the places that you need to hit. One thing that I would suggest you do before you go to a trade show is cull through the exhibitor list. Find all the ones that you really just are like number one on your list that you have to go and visit and you have to talk to. And I'd reach out to them in advance. Shoot them a note. Most of them have their contact information up there on the show site. And if it's somebody that you really want to go see, I'm guessing you already have some connection with them. And reach out to them and say, hey, I'm guessing that the show is going to be pretty busy. Here's when I'm going to be there. I just wanted to see if it was possible to just kind of make sure that we set a quick 15-minute appointment. And just kind of say, hey, here's where I'm going to be here. I just want to make sure that we connect because you're an important business for me to connect with. And, they're going to love that. They're going to go out of their way. They're going to probably put their best person on it for you and give you an opportunity to get that opportunity to make that connection, even at the busy shows. So All right, let's check a couple more comments here. And Sharon says, that's how we started in sublimation. We attended a class at a trade show because I had no clue what it was. I've started a lot of people in sublimation or sublimination before, so that same thing. And so you're not alone there, Sharon. Lots of people have no idea still to this day what it is. Alan says there are many regional shows between ISS, DAX, and NBM, ThreadX, Printing United, etc. I'm surprised at the lack of people that do not take advantage of this when a regional show is within 3 to 6 hours of them. We make time for the things that are important. Yep, for sure. Alan says education, take advantage of it, of its great value. 1 or 2 nuggets can propel your business. Yeah, I mean, I've been to events and things like that where, I've sat in on a seminar or something like that, and in fact, I had one speaker come up to me one time. It was a younger person that I had actually had a chance to help out, and he had said to me, he's like, I asked him before, I said, do you mind if I sit in on the back of your class here? I don't want to be a distraction. I don't want to make you nervous or anything like that. And he was all about it, but he's like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to feel like, because what I'm teaching is pretty low level, entry level kind of stuff. And I said, you know what? I am so excited to come and learn, because even if I think that I know it, the way that you're going to present it is going to be different from the way that somebody else has presented it. And that will just help me continue to strengthen my connection with that knowledge, because you're making different, your brain is making those connections, those paths. You have to get those things connected so that the more knowledge you get. So there is always something to learn in every opportunity, regardless of whether you already know it or already think that you know it all. None of us know it all. So that's good. Let's see here. Add it into your budget. If the weekend is going to cost you $1,200, save $100 a month to invest in yourself and your business. The networking is worth it alone. So that is a, yep. Todd, perfect. So Todd says, what I found is that I knew more than I thought and was able to also help others. So then he made that connection. So that was good. So speaking of networking, so that's the second piece that I want to talk about for everybody here. And this really, again, goes across both sides of the aisles, whether you're a vendor or attendee. This networking thing, we talk about it a lot. I talk about it a lot. But there is just something huge to be said about that. That's almost hard to describe. It is these connections. There's people that I've been able to meet and talk to and have conversations with that I was scared of because I felt like they were way above me and super smart, people like Alan, people like Joe Catazone. B, people that I've been able to connect with that I didn't even know. Todd is a great example. Not that I knew Todd a little bit from some of the things that we've been doing online, but I never had a chance to really connect with him. And when we were at DAX Chicago last year, I had an opportunity to actually spend some time with them, not only on the trade show floor, but over at Buffalo Wild Wings and just, having different conversations. It wasn't like we sat and talked for hours on end, but we had these little nuggets. We had 15 minutes to connect here. We had, 20 minutes to connect over here. And it just was, obviously the start of a great relationship, because we were able to, in less than a year's time, form our success group together. And so those kind of networking and connection opportunities. And, who knows that if Todd and I didn't go to that trade show, yes, we'd probably still be talking through Small Business Saturdays or Two Regular Guys or whatever the case may be there. But I'm not sure we would have had that strong of a connection, that ability to trust each other, to know that, we both bring something to the table that we think can be part of the greater good. So that networking stuff is so important, and again, I know that's not for everybody. As much as you guys might think that I'm an extrovert, it really is the opposite. So I'll present a seminar and then I actually have to just go find an hour's worth of alone time to just kind of compress and get back into my shell, so to speak, so the whole getting out there, I spent many years early on in the industry kind of getting out there a little bit, and I worked with a gentleman named Scott Fresner, who is a great networker, and just a really great guy and knows lots of people, and he was able to introduce me to people like Joe and Alan and things like that. But at first I really avoided that stuff. I do the show, I do my part, and then I'd skip out on a lot of the dinners and a lot of the activities afterwards, and just kind of stay in my own shell. And as I was able to get out there more, that's how I was able to get to where I'm at now, and I've got so much further to go. So, take advantage of those networking opportunities too. At the Impressions Expo, there were so many extracurricular things going on that were fantastic, from mastermind meetups to just people getting together, so just go find a tribe that you're not currently a part of and go insert yourself in there and just find out what they're all about. You might find your best business partners from there. So thinking about that stuff, the networking is also really important. So let's see here. I want to make sure I get to. Cindy says, Todd has some great ideas. Perfect. Yep, I agree. Alan says, no such thing as low-level information. We forget or have not implemented. We don't know what we don't know, which is a quote from our good friend Greg Kitson, who's another person that I've been able to meet and get to know better because of the shows. And Todd says, people like Aaron, wings and beer happen, and people like Aaron, wings and beer happen, and OSG was born. Agree here. Joe is amazing. When I grow up, I want to be Joey to Wing. Me as well. And Joe says ditto to Alan. So all great community, all great networking, all great people that just want to help each other succeed. All right. We've been in this business for 30 years now. The friendships you form from the shows is priceless. It makes it nice to know who you are talking to on the other end of the phone, and our vendors know what we need. Cindy, I think that's huge. And Cindy is a great example of somebody who really gets it, because, when we were in Fort Worth, we were there with the decorators community and the two regular guys. And Cindy has been a loyal regulator, which is a two regular guys listener, for a while. And she, and I'm not sure where her comfort zone is exactly, but she stepped up. She came up, introduced herself, was willing to be on the show with us, and she didn't have to do that. We could have still connected without doing all that, but she stepped up. She's like, hey, I'm here to meet people. I'm here to make connections. I'm here to let my vendors know that what I need, and that I care about them, and that they can care about me, and that kind of stuff. So Todd says, absolutely, Cindy. 2 of the couples coming to our wedding in Mexico were people from the biz who we met through networking. Yeah. I mean, I think, Todd, your wedding seems like it is going to be an industry event. I kind of feel like I'm going to be obviously missing out on that too. So anyhow, all right, a couple more little points that I wanted to get to. And before I get any further along, I do want to send a special shout out to my wife. She actually helped me come up with the idea for this show and helped me with the points and all of the things. She's like, I've heard you talk about this before. You just need to get your thoughts together. And I'm like, can you help me? And she totally did. So, and Todd also points out that, the wedding becomes a write-off, which is a good point. Yeah. City says that was fun. I try not to be shy in public. Yeah. And I'm glad it was fun. It was super fun for us too. And we really appreciate that. So, all right, a couple other things here before we get off to volleyball here this morning. The other great part about shows and what shows can really do for you is it does give you an opportunity to kind of see what the trends are, see what people are talking about, see what the bigger picture of things are, So at Impressions Expo, you saw all sorts of new cool technology, things that, are on the horizon. What are people looking at? Epson came out with a new, larger, more production-friendly direct-to-garment machine. So that means digital is really coming. Again, I was not there, but I know Reinette had a booth full of innovative ideas, and ZSK, the embroidery folks, had this new photo laser for patches that looked really cool. Eric Campbell was telling me about a thread. I think it's called Color Reel, and I don't know a whole lot about this, so you got to go to the shows to find the stuff out or reach out to them. But apparently, it actually dyes the thread as it's printing, so you can change thread colors while it's stitching. Sorry, Alan says lots of hybrid technology, which means you've got them. I don't want to call it manual because I know that sounds like it's a negative thing, but you've got the traditional screen print technology where you're putting an underbase down. You're able to do things with special inks and really cool effects and all of the amazing stuff that screen printers do. But more and more companies are starting to add in a digital piece. M&R calls theirs a digital squeegee, I believe, where, okay, I'm printing an underbase, I'm digitally printing stuff on top of it, and then I am also going to then maybe add a gel or some sort of, again, specialty ink and all that stuff. So keeping up on those trends and what's coming and what's new and all sorts of good stuff. So Marshall, good morning. Good morning from Nashville hotel room. Hopefully things are good in Nashville there. You're here in the Midwest with us, Marshall, enjoying our gray weather, I think. I'm not sure what the weather's like in Nashville, but it's not beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. Terry says, good morning. Really, Todd? Show can be a write-off? I would certainly talk to your accountant about it, but depending on what you're doing, you certainly can take a look at that. If you're interacting for your business, it certainly can be. So Marshall says the weather is great inside. Yes, it's wonderful in my house here. So in fact, the heater just kicked on. So nice. All right. So let's just wrap this up here with a couple of quick tips to make sure that you get the most out of your trade show experience. I talked a little bit already about the planning ahead. So, going through that exhibitor list, getting that show floor map out, tagging the highlights, tagging the things that you need to, that are like the A number one. I've got to make sure I hit this booth, or I've got to make sure I talk to this person or whatever. So that's the first thing you want to do. Again, I would encourage you to reach out to these companies and people beforehand and see if you can set some appointments. A lot of times I know that I was at shows and I had really good intentions to talk to certain people or to do certain things. And because the show's normally 2 or 3 days and there's lots of stuff going on around it and there's so much happening that a lot of times I ran out of time, so if you can set appointments and if you can set appointments with key vendors, that's a great point. And yes, I am using StreamYard, so thank you very much. Yeah, I still got to work on the green screen. My lighting is not great, so once I fix the lighting, I can get my hair, and I got to get a haircut. So have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with different people. That is a great tip, Marshall. In fact, in Fort Worth, I had an opportunity to sit down for breakfast with you and Eric Campbell, and that was fantastic. And just doing those things is important. All right, so some other tips here. So again, plan it out, map it out, try to get your plan together, get that, I've got to do this, and then start getting your likes together. But then also you can, be coordinating what some of those extracurriculars are, the breakfast, lunches, and dinners, and, the after show events and some of that stuff. So that's one thing. Second tip here is do not miss the training opportunities. Many of these shows are putting together fantastic programs, but understand what the program is and understand how that works. Impressions puts on Impressions U. DAX has always really been, I don't know what the hardcore is the word that's coming to mind, but it's not exactly the word. They've just really, every time I've presented there, and I have a ton of respect for them, and I think they have a ton of respect for me. But I've presented, here's my idea. And more often than not, I've kind of sat down and talked on the phone with Scott and Margie and just kind of refined it. So because they have a very specific, they want to bring great education, so take advantage of those educational opportunities. The DAX shows, you can get a whole package for like $50, I think. Individual classes are like $35. I mean, this is dirt cheap. Getting into the shows typically is free. So spend a little bit of money and go take those classes. Again, even if you discover that a ton of stuff about what's being presented, there's still going to be connections. There's still going to be information that you can glean from it. And, if you get one tip that improves your business, is that not worth $35, $25, whatever it is that you're paying for it? I think it's worth $100. It's probably worth $500. In some cases, I know I've taken stuff away that has made me way more than $500. So, take advantage of those educational opportunities. Write down some questions ahead of time. Again, you're going to show up and you're going to, so maybe I really want to make sure that I am talking to Marshall or Alan or Joe or Todd or somebody like that. And, things are crazy and I catch Marshall walking by this way and Alan's walking by this way. And I have like 30 seconds to grab each of them, and all of a sudden I'll forget, I wanted to ask Alan about this, or I wanted to ask Marshall about Shirt Lab. I wanted to ask Alan about what he's got going on now and what the new cool stuff that he's all part of, but I'm going to forget that stuff. So, I don't have my notebook in front of me here, but yeah, I've got it. You can use a Terry. Oh, that's funny. My yellow legal pad becomes a green screen. Love it. Use your, just have those notes, have that stuff ready there. So I've got one more tip, but let me see some other tips that I've gotten here. Yeah, let's talk. I'd love to talk to you and be on your show. So thanks for joining me this morning. All right, Alan. Love appointments at show, but also make sure that you make appointments. Love coffee, breakfast, lunch, meetups. Airbnbs are cheap, but networking happens in the hotel bar or restaurant more, which is a really good point. Again, how Two Regular Guys got started was Terry and I hanging out in hotel bars. So if we were at Airbnbs, we probably wouldn't have Two Regular Guys right now. There wasn't such a thing as Airbnbs back when that started 10 to 8 years ago. So I just want to say another big thank you for taking the time to meet with us early on Saturday mornings. You're welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me too, Cindy. I appreciate that. All right, Todd, here's a long one. I love it. My tip, take a vessel to fill with a beverage. All right. You don't need to lug around catalogs because they will send them to you. That's a really great tip. I've always thought it was interesting in the people that had all the luggage and they were just throwing all this stuff in. And, I also always thought it was interesting the fact that we're at t-shirt shows with people that make t-shirts, yet there's lines to get free t-shirts. So, hey, everybody loves a t-shirt, even the t-shirt makers. So, but yes, I would tend to say, yeah, there's no real reason to lug around all this stuff. Just ask the vendors to send that stuff to you. They're more than happy to do that. And you'll get the stuff that you actually need. Good shoes. That is a huge tip, Todd. Let's see, I'm trying to remember which one it was, but one of the SGIA expos before it became Printing United. It had to be in Las Vegas. I don't know if it was the last Las Vegas or the one before that, but I had one day that I had 35,000 steps. So take some good shoes, meet new people. Don't feel like you're not good enough to be in a booth. Take all the training you can, take business cards, network. There we go. So there's Todd's tips. All right, man, you guys got great tips. I can be done with this here. Download the study sheet handouts. Yep, absolutely. Be prepared. You're take advantage of this stuff. The presenters spend time working on this stuff for you, and if you don't take advantage of it, then it's kind of a waste. Be willing to admit you don't know everything, or that there's a better idea out there. Marshall, I am willing to admit that. So thank you. Q&A events are awesome, Alan says. Yep, looking forward to. In fact, speaking of Q&A events, the DAX shows have given me the opportunity They do a showcase out there on the show floor, and I grabbed 2 of those showcase spots for the decorators community, and we're going to do an Ask the Expert panels. So we're getting the details together on that. So in fact, Alan, look for an email from me here soon. And let's see here. If you're buying equipment, take your own files with to see the real quality it will do, not the show quality. I think that's a huge point, Todd. Because yes, many times the vendors, and not in a negative way. I mean, obviously they want to show off their stuff to the best of its abilities, but you have to make sure that it's going to match up with what you do. So if you can't print your file, there on the show floor, and sometimes there are reasons. Yes, it's not a production environment, and so you might not be able to do that. But if you're going to be making a purchasing decision, you have to make sure it's going to work for your business. So, again, that's where that pre-setting appointments and talking about things. If you know you're going to go there and you're planning on spending, a couple $1,000, $10,000, whatever, $15,000, $20,000, well, you don't just show up and go, oh yeah, this one looks good, and drop the money, and then 6 months later be all upset because it's not working for you because you didn't do your due diligence. So that's a really good point, Todd. Thank you for sharing that. I now have a better idea of what I'm looking to get out of DAX this year. It was a bit overwhelming for me last year. Yeah, and that is a great point too, Leela. The first time you go to a show, it can be. I went to, when I first got into the industry, my very first show was an ISS show at the McCormick Center in Chicago. So that's how long ago this was, back in 2000. And, and that was actually ended up being a smaller show I came to discover. And I was super overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, look at all of this stuff. And I had done some log home shows and things like that before, but this was totally new and different. And then the first time I walked into an SGA show, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to need a nap. But again, you break it down, you chunk it down, you pick what you need to pick, and then you just take it all in. You just let it come to you. You let it come in. You're not going to get to everything. So, that's why you invest in going back the next year. That's a good point. All right, cool. A couple more things here. Thank you, Aaron. Class act as always. Alan, best of luck. Hope to see you soon. Here's to a great season to all. Travel safely. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you setting in. And yeah, I'm getting ready to get out of here. Let's see here. If there's a line of people willing to get in, like moss to a flame. All right. Here's Marshall's got his classes coming up at Impressions Expo, Atlantic City, Marshall. You got to make sure you change that. All right, guys. So my last tip, this is the part that I think we've probably hit on quite a bit here, but gonna wrap this up with this. My last tip for you: have an open mind. Okay. Don't go with preconceived notions. Go completely open. Be open to everything. Be open to bad ideas. Be open to good ideas. Be open to people that you wouldn't normally talk to. Go mend relationships with people if you've got those to mend. Go with an open mind. Go and be ready to do it all. Take it all in and just go with the flow. So we talked about kind of having a plan and making it happen. But guess what? If that doesn't happen, you can still connect with those folks after the fact. I went into SGI Expo a couple of years back, and I had a spreadsheet of a list of people that I needed to connect with. I think I maybe only got through about 50% of those people and checked them off, but that was not a failure. That was not me going, oh man, I really blew it. I really didn't get a chance to. I got to talk to 50% of these people that I wanted to talk to. That was huge. The other 50% I followed up with after the fact and said, hey, sorry I missed you. I was busy. I know you were busy. If you have some time, let's connect, because here's what I wanted to talk to you about at SGIA. And I was able to check off most of the rest of those folks. So looking forward to it. Let's see here. What other piece of advice before we get out of here? Do your homework and equipment. What happens after the sale? Services, everything, especially on major capital expenditures. My first ISS show, so I have no clue. Cool. All right, you guys. It was great to talk to you this morning. Thank you for all of the feedback and all of the interactions here. Again, make sure you get to oursuccessgroup.com and get signed up there. And looking forward to next Wednesday's show. Next Wednesday's training about a marketing overview with Todd. So great stuff there. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will talk to you next Saturday.